part 4 of this essay by Malcolm Nance. Please watch the other parts first. Nance is a former SERE instructor and basically a technique in the avoidance of and resistance to torture. So it has been said Congress doesn't have the power to tie the president's hands in regard to torture as an interrogation technique. It's the core of the commander-in-chief's function. They can't prevent the president from ordering torture. This is an astounding assertion. It reflects a basic disregard of the law of the United States, the Constitution, and basic moral decency. Remember, this is a former SERE instructor talking here. Another MSNBC commentator defended the administration and stated that waterboarding is not a new phenomenon and that it has just been pinned on President Bush and that it has been part of interrogation for years and years and years. He is correct, but only partially. The Washington Post reported in 2006 that it was mainly America's enemies that used it as a principal interrogation method. After World War II, Japanese waterboard team members were tried for war crimes by the United States. In Vietnam, service members were placed under investigation when a photo of a field expedient waterboarding became publicly known. Torture in captivity simulation training reveals that there are ways an enemy can inflict punishment which will render the subject totally helpless and which will generally overcome his willpower. The torturer will trigger within the subject a survival instinct. In this case, the ability to breathe, which makes the victim instantly pliable and ready to comply. It is purely and simply a tool by which to deprive a human being of his ability to resist through physical humiliation. The very concept of an American torturer is completely contrary to our values. I concur strongly with the opinions of professional interrogators and the victims of torture, like former Senator McCain. I guess he's still a senator now. If you want consistent, accurate, and reliable intelligence, be inquisitive, analytical, patient, but most of all, professional, amiable, and compassionate. Who will complain about the new worldwide embrace of torture? America has justified it legally at the highest levels of government. Even worse, the administration has selectively leaked supposed successes of waterboard, such as alleged Khalid Sheikh Mohammed confessions, in which, by the way, he confessed to everything under the sun. However, in the same breath, the CIA sources for the Washington Post noted that in Mohammed's case, they got information, but not all of it too reliable. Of course, when you waterboard, you get all the magic answers you want, because remember, the subject will talk. They all talk. Anyone strapped down will say anything, absolutely anything, to get the torture to stop. Torture does not work. According to the president, this is not a torture, so future torturers in other countries now have an American legal basis to perform these very same acts again and again. Every hostile intelligence agency and terrorist in the world will consider it a very viable tool that can be used with impunity. It has been turned into a perfectly acceptable behavior for information finding. A torture victim can be made to say anything by an evil nation that does not abide by humanity, morality, treaties, or the rule of law. Today we're on the verge of becoming that very nation. Is it possible that September 11th hurt us so much that we have decided to gladly adopt the tools of the KGB, the Khmer Rouge, the Nazi Gestapo, the North Vietnamese, the North Koreans, and the Burmese junta. On to Part 5.